Hi everyone. Welcome back to A Sky Full of Stars, episode 22, where it looks like we're coming to the end of this childhood story, and we should be going back to present times with Orihime, Honoka, and Noriko shortly. So right now, Akito feels that he's met all his obligations with Hikari, and that they don't really have any more connections between them, because one, Pooch the dog, is now adopted by Taro and the Satomi family, and he's now Kotaro, thanks to Saya. And also, it's past the stargazing event where Hikari has Akito share his telescope with the rest of the class, and they got to see the Albireo stars, well, the winter Albireo stars. So I wonder what's going to happen next. So let's start from here. So I wonder what Sai's thinking. Question mark. So apologize for what? Well, I don't think it's Saya's fault. Cause she misunderstood what Akito meant by her eyes looking like Albireo stars. And Akito kind of feels sorry as well. That's good. Well, then again, they're in 5th grade, so you can't really expect much. Well, it's fine. I was the one that created the misunderstanding anyways. When he introduced a word that very few people could understand. Because I'm pretty sure maybe only like 3 people understand what the word Albireo means. And definitely not Takeichi and his underlings. And Sai kind of feels embarrassed that she cried in front of the class on her first day. So Hikari poked me in my side and actually hurt a bit. So what is it now? So listen for what? Okay. So I stopped talking. And when I did, Saya with a nervous expression, it all began to open up little by little. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. So, she's afraid that anybody would be talking about her eyes. And that's why she showed up on the first day with sunglasses. Okay, so is that why you're wearing sunglasses? So it had nothing to do with inner city high fashion. Well, I pretty sure that this was brought up by the other classmates. Since she was wearing stylish sunglasses. And they're like, wow, she's dressed pretty nicely. This is something that we don't really see here, so I think this was actually an assumption from the classmates. I forgot what it was exactly. Well, but then you can't really wear that in class. And so the class was like, wow, look at Saya. And then they were kind of puzzled by her multicolored eyes. And that was when Akito chimed in and said, oh, yours eyes look like Albireo. And that was when Saya cried and ran out of the classroom. And Takeichi pretty much used it against Akito and was like, hey, look, you made a new student cry. You better take it back and apologize to Saya. So it wasn't just a simple misunderstanding. It must be really frustrating to have someone you're meeting for the first time mention the eye colors you've had a complex about your whole life. And in front of a large group of people as well. So I wonder if Akito just well, they're in 5th grade, so Akito probably didn't know the implications when he mentioned a very special word to the class and to Saya. Since nobody really knows what the Albireo stars are. Unless you study astronomy. No, it's, oh, I mean, I'm sorry, too. So this misunderstanding wasn't Saya's responsibility. Besides, most people don't have, or don't know the names of the stars. And I was the one in the wrong for saying something so careless. There you go. But then the class got to see the Albireo stars, or the winter Albireo stars, and that's when they finally know what Akito was talking about when he mentioned that her eyes look like the Albireo stars. But I'm pretty sure Takeichi and his underlings still stick with the old fact that it's referring to a monster. And we kind of see, well, I have a feeling that during the stargazing event, they were probably like the ones that didn't participate, didn't really look at the telescope, because they were just hoping that this event would end soon. And they only showed up because they don't want to be big spoilers for the rest of the class. Saya struggled to get her words out. So now she knows that that word is special. It means that she has really unique characteristics that no one else has. In the tiniest voice, the words "just a little" were added to end of her sentence. as she hung her head and blushed. Okay. Okay, so she's happy. Sai said, finally waving or working through her shyness. And she's happy. Her eyes were glued to the floor. But with that smile, So what is he thinking about? My head began to spin and I stumbled a bit. Even Hikari, who was standing next to me. I'm not sure why, but she stumbled a bit too. Okay, I think Sai is just embarrassed and she's gonna cut this conversation off. She vigorously bowed her head. And before I knew it, Sai was gone. So Hikari's wondering what's going on. Okay. Hikari said with an expression of utter disbelief as she gazed in the direction that Saya had ran off to. I continued to gaze down at the same street she'd vanished to, my heart beating frantically in my chest. Okay. Hikari said cheerfully after petting Kotaro the dog. Yes, says Kotaro. Sure, Hikari. So after the two dogs had their goodbyes, she turned to me. So she turned to give me a big wave goodbye before taking off. Sure, later. With a loneliness not unlike the setting sun, the dogs and I watched Hikari run off. Okay, so it's next week, Monday. So I wonder how Takeichi feels about all this. And I think they were thinking that Saya would be on their side because, like, look, Akito's bullying you, so come to us. Until that event when they try to barricade Akito from coming up the steps of the school building with his telescope in an attempt to make sure Takeichi wins the bet. And they went as far as to damaging his telescope, and Saya stepped in and defended Akito. So I wonder how they feel about Saya switching over to Akito's side. So I went to school the same way I always do. So what's going to happen to the environment now? after they got to see his telescope and look at all those winter constellations. I headed to the classroom the same way I always do, but this time for some reason I stopped right before the room. So he's kind of nervous about the reaction that the class would give him after that stargazing event. How was it before? So he's kind of comparing to the time when he first came to the school. Well, recently Hikari and I have been doing nothing but Star Talk every day. And before that, I don't really want to remember it. I was blunt and treated all of the students like enemies. Oh, so the fact that when Akito first came to school, he was always isolated. He didn't want to talk to anyone, and was always in the dark corner. But that really didn't stop Hikari from trying to talk to him, because we know that Hikari is like this energetic, outgoing type of person. So how would I enter class now that all that stuff has happened? So what about the TV? Oh, so Hikari's talking. So what's the event? They really are loud. I could hear the entire conversation outside of the classroom. But that voice seemed a little farther than usual. Well, I mean, obviously she's on the other side of the door, but still. Oh, good morning. I entered the classroom the same way I always do, giving a curt greeting to everyone. My classmates' reaction was not as cold as it had been before. So what happens next? Well, since the Stargazers meetup, even I felt like that had accepted me as a member of the class. Well, so speaking of Takeichi and his friends, so I wonder what he's thinking about now. I think he's just upset and jealous that the class has accepted Akito over him. And the fact that he put a pretty big dare or bet on Akito and Akito did it without any hesitation. It kind of makes Takeichi feel like well, I cannot use anything to make Akito scared of me. Like, he's willing to stand up and he's willing to brave himself to do all those pranks that I make people do. But luckily we have Hikari on our side, well, Akito's side. Oh, good morning. Especially when Hikari turned the tables against Takeichi that one time. So I gave her a quick reading, then headed to my seat. So I think he wants to talk to Saya, I'm guessing. Well, since there was no more event to prepare for, I didn't want to bother her by being too familiar. Well, then again, Takeichi does have another bullet against Akito by mentioning, oh look, Hikari and Akito are dating, and all that child jokes. Well, as I took my seat, my eyes met with Saya, who was seated by the window. Okay, so he does want to talk to Saya. Oh, good morning. Good morning. So that girl was so shy that even a trivial greeting made her blush and look away. I thought we had gotten to know each other, but I guess I was wrong. Well, I think Saya is afraid to talk to Akito, but it's for a different reason this time. So instead of thinking that he's calling her a monster, she's kind of embarrassed about what she did in front of him on the first day, and she knows that she can't scratch that out of Akito's mind. So I sat in my seat. I didn't have anything to do, so I pulled out a book. It was a book that I had planned on returning to the library today, a book on stars. But it was difficult to understand that I couldn't even read it. Well, that's true. So what's going on now? Look at you! Hikari? Hikari peeked over the book I was reading and grinned. Hey, we should use your telescope to look at more things. Excuse me? Okay, so Hikari's like, so, that was just the beginning. There's more things that we could do with your telescope. There's more stars that we can look at. Hikari said in a somewhat worried voice. So was she talking about stargazing? Of course not. What? Well, I certainly had intended to look at more stars, especially since I had the telescope. Okay, so it's like, well, we have more stars to look at, so let's continue our adventure. So Hikari sounded relieved as she turned to the to other students. I don't really know if they are going to agree with this. So the sudden proposition caused a bit of commotion in the class. They didn't seem to take it so well. Well, one, it's not exciting anymore because they already did it once. And two, it was cold that night. And three, they left class left home without permission. Okay, so what's her reason for... Okay, so the coldness was one factor that's keeping them from going out again. Well, even as Hikari called out to everyone, they only replied with a disinterested expression. Right before my eyes, Hikari's bubbly expression deflated. I hoped just for an instant that something might happen, but it looked like it was really over. Well, that's just how it was. I didn't have any big expectations anyways. So Saya speaks up. Oh, what is it? Saya, seated in the corner, raised her hand. Okay, so she wants to join as well. So, the withered Hikari's expression brightened immediately. Okay, so Saya is going to join. Yeah, of course. I said in agreement, my face flustered. Okay. So Saya stood and timidly made her way over to my seat. Okay. So Saya said, looking like a deer in headlights. She was so cute though. Oh, the Stargazers Club. Hikaru looked proud of her good idea. So Saya and I looked up and instinctively locked eyes. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Well, I said, hiding my intense elation by answering in a rather unconcerned voice. Oh, so even the teacher agrees. And both Hikari and Saya are surprised at the response. At some point, the teacher had gotten up and come over to us. Okay, so she's gonna give them something. Oh, so a book. And I'm pretty sure this book, it's written in a way that they can understand compared to the book that Akito borrowed from the library. So, A Beginner's Guide to Astronomy. There you go. Okay. So, well, I used this book when I started doing astronomy, so it's good for you. Okay, that's a really good way to dodge the questions. Like, well, the time period when I was little and I read this book compared to the age of the universe is quite tiny. So, in a sense, you're probably going to be seeing the same things I did when I was a little kid. Okay, so go ahead and keep the tripod. Are you sure? I actually been worried about that. I couldn't look at the stars without the tripod and stood up, or stand. Well, that was a bet from Takichi though. Well, I'm sorry about that. I wonder if Takeichi got any kind of discipline for pushing Akito and Hikari to do that. The teacher chuckled a bit when she seen that even Saya had been dragged into apologizing. Well, thanks, Satomi-sensei. So after saying that, the teacher moved away from my seat. Okay. Okay, so some teasing from Hikari. Hey, don't be stupid. Why would you even think of something like that? Oh, really? And Saya kind of believes in what Hikari's trying to say. Oh, I told you, that's not true. Okay, so time for class. Alright. And that was how the Mikazuki Astronomy Club had started. Well, it wasn't an official club or something, but I preferred it that way. So we just used the title of the club to hang out together and look at the stars. It was like adventuring around the Milky Way every day. With our innocent smile or minds, we were hungry to learn as much as we could. So they had a teacher that inspires them to continuing to look at the stars, even though the classmates they weren't interested. They just came because there was something exciting and new. But now that they've seen it once, it's not new anymore. So they gazed at the clusters of countless stars and dreamed of places far, far from here. So, this girl really irks me though. Okay, so I'll go ahead and stop here. We're now back in present times. So the time when Akito is working at this stop and buy convenience store. And I'm not really sure where we are in present times. Because we kind of cut off right when he saw Hikari for the first time in many years, and the fact that the current Miharu teacher is upset that she has to work the night shift, while Akito takes his day off to go and look at stars with Orihime, Honoka, and Noriko. And then I have a feeling that Akito texted Saya that he saw Hikari once again, or once more. And so I wonder what's going to happen next and where Hikari is currently. So with that in mind, I'll see you in the next episode.